Guys, how are you doing? Welcome back to a brand new video. It's Simon down here at Burford Golf Lab, and today's question is expensive blade versus cheap blade. Right, you sexy people. Mp18, about £900 for the set, against the Mp32, which is probably about 120 or 150, 3 to pitch and wedge in good condition. I'll do some research. I'll try and find some sets that you could obviously find and buy. And the main reason, is there any difference? Because at the end of the day, it is a lump of metal on a stick. There's not much they can do with the cores or the CG or anything else like that in terms of tech, because it is pure forged metal at the end of a stick. This one you can't really focus on with my camera because it's too shiny. There you go. You can't deny that looks unbelievable though, to be fair. And then obviously the Mp32 back in its day probably looked unreal, but obviously it's a bit battered now. However, is there any difference between these two in terms of feel, sound, distance? I mean, it's a bit, at the end of the day, they look great. I would never use a blade personally myself, maybe in a combo set, but it wouldn't go any higher than an 8-iron because I just don't hit it well enough. Therefore, I need that kind of forgiveness. And with the ball technology transformed over the last 10-15 years, do you actually really need a blade anymore? Especially a lot of the pros don't use blades. The big cat definitely used the blade around Masters, but he is the greatest of all time. So it is a question of, is it worth spending a lot of money on this, or do you want to spend and dip your toe by spending a lot less money and seeing if you do get on with a blade? What I would say with blades is that it makes you focus on your golf swing. It makes you think, right, I have to hit this out the middle. As soon as you have a big cavity back iron, you can get lazy, you can get away with it. And at the end of the day, there's no right or wrong answers, whatever makes you play better golf. However, you're going to lose a lot of distance with these, and especially if you hit them out the toe of the hill, regardless of these, you're going to lose, again, a higher percentage. But some people want to look at that clean cut edge, and there's no question about it. Both of these are butter knives. They are so thin, and you have to catch them very cleanly, but when you do, it feels great, and you feel like you are a good golfer, even if it is 1 out of 10 times. So, in terms of specs, they're both the same length. I'm trying to guess because the label's so worn on this Mp32, but I can see a dynamic gold. I imagine it's got S300 in it, so therefore I've put a dynamic gold S300 in this at 105 grams. That's as close as I probably could get it. The steps on the shaft look pretty similar as well, so we'll roll with it, see what happens. Interestingly, this is a degree higher in loft. So this is 31 degrees, this is 30 degrees. So even blades over the years, I know it's a year, over 15 years even, it's only gone up 1 degree. But this is more lofted. So let's hit them, let's see how far they go. I've got the 6 irons by the way, and see what kind of numbers we get. Now I won't bore you with all my shots because I pulled a few and blocked a few, but I pretty much hit all of these out of the middle, and I hit 5 shots with the Mp32 and 5 shots with the Mp18 just to get a general idea of numbers. Now the Mp32 feels so much lighter than the Mp18, so the older one feels a lot lighter than the newer one, and I think that's mainly down to the manufacturing process. They're able to forge the metals a lot more compact, basically compacting more into a head, into a smaller head. And you can definitely feel that just purely from the weight. And what that does is help the MOI. So basically the club's not going to turn as much when you hit a ball, not necessarily out the middle. So you're getting a more forgiving blade and also a lot higher ball speed as well, which you'll see in the numbers as well. However, are you looking for an amazing amount of ball speed and MOI in a blade? Not really, that shouldn't be your focus points. However, it is nice to have, and it felt better. £800 worth of feel though, that is the question. Right guys, there's 5 shots with each iron, bit sporadic. as my iron play always is. But I hit pretty much every single one of those straight out the middle, so in terms of spin rate and numbers, that should be pretty accurate, even with my pull and blocks. But let's look at the numbers and talk about them. Okay, so Mp32, Mp18, what you saying? Ball speed higher with the Mp18, as you can see. Now it is less lofted than Mp18 by a degree, but I mean there's pretty big difference, especially in terms of ball speed. For 1 degree, you're not compressing the ball as much as that, and obviously having about on average 8 miles an hour ball speed. That's why you're seeing a difference in distance. You would have thought after 15 years of experience there, 15 years of like technology and advancement, that obviously compacting the metal into the Mp18, that's why it feels heavier, that's why it feels a bit more solid and a bit more forgiving as well. Even though you still got that sleek blade look, you're still getting more out of it. If we look over to obviously the spin rate, I mean obviously side spin pretty awful, but that's more for me rather than the golf club. But spin rate pretty similar, but obviously the Mp18 producing slightly higher. Not too much in terms of being too high. Yeah, potentially a tiny bit high for a 6-iron realistically, but that's probably down to my clubhead speed. And the Mp32 again, pretty decent for what you're getting for your money. So if you're thinking about grooves or anything else like that, actually it's still producing a decent amount of spin. That's going to hit a green and that's going to fizz back nicely for you, or at least stop on the dot. And then again in yardages, you can see carry about 10 yards in between them, as well as the total, you've got about 10 yards or 8 yards in total. Obviously a bit more spin with the Mp18, so obviously getting a bit more out of it. But is it worth it? £800. Okay, so the numbers, the clubs, the price difference. At the end of the day, neither are forgiving, and neither are gonna help your game if you've got that slower swing speed. Don't feel like just because it's shinier and smaller, you're going to be a better golfer. However, if you want to dip your toe into try using a blade, and you've never used one before, and you don't want to go right out the gates, MP, going back, Mizuno, definitely one of the most reliable forged metal irons you can possibly get, even if it is 15 years old. I'm talking this club is only 8 miles an hour difference than 15 years of technology, and it's a fraction of the cost. So if you want to dip your toe and try it, then by all means do that. You can buy them, sell them again, you go lose no money, and then maybe you go, you know what, I love a blade, but I need that extra help. To be honest, if you're getting a blade, you're probably a very good player. Therefore, you probably want to invest your money into your golf equipment. So if you're playing twice, 3 times a week, and you're a single finger handicapper at least, then you're going to want to get fitted for it realistically, or at least get fitted and find something that's close to you. The Mp18 for me just felt better purely because it was heavier. I like a heavier head, and obviously they're able to compact the forged iron head in the Mp18 so much more than they used to. And that's why you've kind of got that more forgiveness, more weight, and higher ball speed and everything else. So even though on the front they look the same, they are kind of different, but it is a big price gap. Obviously you guys have to make the judgment yourself whether you think it's worth it or not. Guys, thank you ever so much for watching. As always, leave this video a like if you liked it. Catch you guys later.